Doing another update on the assassination attempt of Donald Trump, this shocking, shocking incident. There's more and more details coming out, and I want to specifically go to not all of the details being released, those are easy enough to look up, but some of the responses going on through leadership up and down the chain of command in this country. So I'm going to start at the top. I'm going to look at the Secret Service, Kim Cheadle. She is doing a terrible job being a leader in the circumstance. The excuses she's giving for not putting people on the roof or having holes in the security are really unprecedented excuses for a person of that caliber and what they're supposed to be doing. So, Secret Service is not doing a good job taking accountability, being in a leadership position. I think somebody else is going to need to step up, and I also think she should resign. That's an easy call to resign from Joe Schmo in Kentucky, but this is absolutely poor leadership. Secret Service in charge on the scene. They are all being investigated. They're all being interviewed. They're going through the various breakdowns that occurred. That needs to happen, and ultimately badges and guns need to be turned in. My 12 years in law enforcement, the last thing I want is for good, decent officers to lose their job. But if the high-ranking officials on the scene that are commanding the scene resulted in the exact person they're supposed to be protecting getting shot, almost literally having their life taken from them with a headshot, that's pretty embarrassing, and that needs to be addressed immediately. So Homeland Security, their Inspector General is getting involved in it. They're launching an investigation into the rally planning and some of the intelligence and details surrounding that. So that's going to be a wonderful independent review separate from the FBI. I think you guys need to pay attention to the Department of Homeland Security's looking into it. Additionally, the Congress is setting up their own high speed. It's supposed to be some type of high speed task force that, not skipping laws, but skipping procedural issues, is going to be able to accelerate the investigation and find out more about why this broke down and who the players were involved in allowing this to break down. Now, conspiracy theories involved or aside, there were breakdowns either way that allowed for conspiracy theory to be executed on, or just allowed for the terrible, terrible coincidence of a young man knowing the exact gap to penetrate and get to the president. The other thing I really want to point out is there's a guy named Tom Knights. He's the manager of the county in Butler Township, or the township manager, I should say, and he's actually given us some new details about some things, and I'll talk about his specific points in the tactical release that I do later. But he's talking about interviewing his own department members, his own township members, and the police officers in general, and the information that he's being fed. He does a great job. If you look at any of his interviews, there's 2 or 3 of them out there. He articulates very clearly what transpired according to the knowledge he has. He does not suppose things. He does not place opinions on it. He says, I don't know, when there's something he doesn't know, and he says, here's the answer when he knows the answer. This guy, Tom Knight from Butler Township, so far appears to be a pretty good leader. He's being very proactive in getting the information out to not only his local people, but the national media as well. He's speaking clearly. He's defending his people where they needed to be defended, and he's getting answers where he says there's holes in the information, and I need to get some answers here. So pay attention to this guy. A little small town Butler Township guy might be one of the better leaders that we're seeing in this scenario. That is yet to be determined and to unfold still, but he's given us details about the officers that actually responded, climbed up on the roof, confronted Crooks before he fired his shots, literally dangling from the roof, hoisting each other up. Those are important details that are going to come out for us to realize what the law enforcement response was, why he rushed and missed his shot. I still hold from day one that he missed his shot because he was rushed, one, by police presence, effectively hot on his trail, and he also had the convenience of Trump had the convenience of turning his head at the right time and missing a much more significant and possibly deadly shot. So pay attention to this. Everybody look up Tom Knights. Everybody follow Homeland Security. And honestly, the entire nation needs to be putting pressure on the Secret Service and its director, its head, Kim Cheadle. So stay tuned. We'll get more updates later on.